Welcome back to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify, Apple, or Google, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps support the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. All right, my friends, we got breaking news. The CFTC is suing Binance and Binance's CEO, CZ, also known as Changpeng Zhao. So here's the headline. CFTC sues Binance CZ over willful evasion of U.S. laws, unregistered crypto derivative products or derivatives products. The CFTC alleged Binance offered unregistered crypto derivatives products and directed U.S. customers to evade compliance controls through the use of VPNs. Now, a couple of things here, guys. As always, there's multiple layers to peel back on this onion. The market, of course, is reacting to this news. And of course, Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world. And here we look at Bitcoin on the daily, or I should say the hourly, and you see a red candle forming. Now, it's nothing too critical, nothing to worry about at this moment. That could change over the next few days. But right now, it's just a pullback that really works within the current consolidation of Bitcoin. So while the prices are pulling back and there's a bit of red, it is not anything critical. Once again, it's not like Bitcoin's plunging down to 15K or something, right? We're still within our move to the retracement. So we want to watch Bitcoin's price closely, though, because who knows what else is coming tomorrow, right? So at this moment, no cause for alarm, but the price is, taking a hit as a result, and we're seeing some red. Now, the next layer, what I think this is, will this shut down Binance? No, right? Binance is not going to get shut down because of this. Rather, I think they will have to pay a fine if they are indeed guilty of what the CFTC is alleging here. So it's a lawsuit. Binance can fight it, of course, or they can do some sort of settlement and pay their fees and continue as usual. So that's the other layer. Next, I'm going to share here with you, in their lawsuit here, they named Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tether, and BUSD as commodities. Wow. Talk about confusion. Talk about a mess, because the SEC says that Bitcoin is not a security, but everything else. That includes Ethereum, Litecoin, Tether, Binance US, right? They're trying to go after NFTs, stable coins, everything. We were seeing it play out before us. We've seen the lawsuits. So you have two regulatory agencies trying to go for a land grab. It's a mess. And this is where Congress needs to act. That's the other layer. So let me give you some more details as to what is happening. So the CFTC sued crypto exchange Binance and founder Changpeng Zhao, or known as CZ, Monday on allegations the company knowingly offered unregistered crypto derivatives products in the U.S. Against federal law. The lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois on Monday alleged that Binance operated a derivatives trading platform in the U.S. offering trades for cryptocurrencies including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Tether, and BUSD, which the suit referred to as commodities. The suit also alleged that the company, under CZ's leadership, directed its employees to spoof their locations through the use of virtual private networks. So let's jump ahead here. According to the CFTC, the global exchange, which has a U.S. affiliate in Binance.us, created a system to hide its true reach and operations. Here's a quote. Binance's reliance on a maze of corporate entities to operate the Binance platform is deliberate. It is designed to obscure the ownership, control, and location of the Binance platform, the filing said, adding that Zhao, which is CZ, answers to no one but himself. In a press release, CFTC Chief Counsel Gretchen Lowe called Binance's actions willful evasion of the U.S. law, pointing to internal chats and emails. Moreover, the suit alleged Binance directed customers in the U.S. to use a variety of methods to evade restrictions on the U.S.-based customers. Here's a quote. Binance has instructed U.S. customers to evade such controls by using VPNs to conceal their true location. The suit alleged VPNs have the effect of masking an internet user's true IP address. VPN used by customers to access and trade on the Binance platform has been an open secret, and Binance has consistently been aware of and encouraged the use of VPNs by US customers. So, like I said, guys, I don't think Binance is going to get shut down. They're a global crypto a global crypto exchange, and the layers of the onion that I just peeled back for you guys, and that is, if they are indeed guilty of this, they'll pay a fine and they'll continue business as usual. But I think the big takeaway here is just the confusion between the SEC and the CFTC. So CFTC clearly calling some things commodities that the SEC has said are securities. What a mess. Now, different folks are weighing in on this. Here, Meta Lawman, he tweeted out, CFTC sues Binance and CZ. In its complaint, the CFTC reaffirms its position that Bitcoin and Ethereum are securities, and it declares Tether, BUSD, and Litecoin as commodities as well. The CFTC has officially thrown down the gauntlet to the SEC and the everything is a security crowd. He says here, so we now have an open warfare between the CFTC, on the other hand, and the SEC and the New York Attorney General, who contends ETH is a security, on the other hand. If the US regulatory regime for digital assets wasn't the laughingstock of the world before, it is now. Well said. This is why I read this tweet. That's exactly how I feel about it. What a mess. This is unbelievable. Congress needs to act. Here, Adam Cochran, he is a partner at CEHV, and he put out a great summary of this. He says, case is up and it's bad. This is the CFTC attempting to strike a fatal blow to Binance. And at first read through, I think they actually have strong cases here of succeeding in toppling the Binance empire. This is the case we've long heard rumored that Binance denied, and it is going straight for the jugular. Points out specific action to broker US exposure to leverage products and despite access controls. He says here, it notes defendants have disregarded applicable federal laws while fostering Binance's US customer base because it has been profitable for them to do so, and points to internal reporting of their products revenue being derived from what they knew were US customers. He says Binance, CZ, and LIM are all listed in 7 violations of CEA/CFC/USC and suggests all of CZ's held Binance entities are under CZ for this case, aiming to pierce corporate veil. It also specifically targets Binance US trading arm Merit Peak and BAM trading services. So he goes on, but he also says they've got chat records and other documentation from CZ directly on these matters. So things that CZ's been saying, apparently they were using Signal and I don't know what else. But like I said, they have to prove all of this stuff, right, in court. And Binance, of course, can fight back. And I'm not saying, CZ and Binance are not guilty or not guilty, or guilty or not guilty, I should say. But we have to see, right? Nevertheless, I do think it will play out that Binance has to pay a fine. Binance, the amount of business that they get from the US is minuscule compared to what's going on in other markets, right? So once you understand that and how big Binance is, you'll get what I'm saying. It's like, okay, the CFTC is going to sue them and they pay a fine and whatever it is, but I'm sure they'll figure something out. Now, interestingly enough, CZ, guess what he tweeted out as soon as this news broke? 4. So some of you may be like, what, lately he's been saying 4, putting up 4 fingers and so forth. He's referring to his tweet from January 2nd, where he said, we'll try to keep 2023 simple. Spend more time on less things, do's and don'ts. 1, education. 2, compliance. 3, product and service. Number 4, ignore FUD, fake news, attacks, etc. So when he references 4 and he tweets that out, he says here, in the future, I would appreciate if you can link to this post when I tweet 4, essentially saying, hey, ignore the FUD, ignore the fake news, the attacks, and so forth. So he doesn't seem worried, but, A tweet alone doesn't mean anything. We've seen Sam Bankman-Fried make tweets, right, guys? But he was outright lying. I'm not saying CZ's lying. I'm not saying CZ's not confident that he can come out of this, but rather it's a tweet and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I want to make sure I keep things fair. I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm also not saying that he's not guilty. So we'll have to wait and see how things play out in the courts. Now, Paul Grewal, who I recently interviewed, chief legal officer at Coinbase, he tweeted out regarding the confusion of the CFTC saying these assets are commodities, while the SEC, of course, says they're securities. He says, a security can apparently also be a commodity, except when it's not. And it depends on which regulator you ask and when. If you're confused, you are not alone. This is really the best American law has to offer, ? He's absolutely right. This is nonsense. Can you imagine being an innovator, an investor, an entrepreneur, and you have to deal with this nonsense? This is so stupid. And really beneath the USA and America that we're dealing with this mass confusion here caused by the government. Wow. Now, Katie Hahn of Hahn Ventures, I should say, and she was at Andreessen Horowitz. She wrote an op-ed here in Wall Street Journal titled "How U.S. Regulators Are Choking Crypto." And her tweet here, she quoted, there's a quote from it: "Imagine if more than a century ago, regulators had cut Ford and General Motors off from banking services because they considered automobiles too risky or too competitive with trains and horses." Yep. I've used this analogy of disruption over time, right? The candle makers getting disrupted by electricity in the light bulb, the horse and buggy folks disrupted by the automobiles, and so on and so forth, right, guys? We know what the internet did, and now crypto and blockchain disrupting the hell out of things right now, and we're seeing the fight. But to try to cut off banking services and financial services to crypto companies, that's another level that I've taken to. But, it goes back to my interview with Reeve Collins, who is the co-founder of Tether, where we talked about for the first time in history, money is being disrupted. So of course, there's massive fight, versus the other disruptions that took place, because kings and governments control money. There's wars fought over money. I think we all know the history of the US dollar and things that have happened, right? Even beyond that in history. This is why we have this unprecedented situation with the fight that's taking place. So let's move ahead here, guys. MicroStrategy, well, they continue to buy Bitcoin. Michael Saylor tweeted out, MicroStrategy repaid its $205 million Silvergate loan at a 22% discount. Ouch. Silvergate taking losses there. As of March 23rd, 2023, MicroStrategy acquired an additional 6,455 Bitcoins for $150 million at an average of $23,238 per Bitcoin, and held 138,955 Bitcoin acquired for $4.14 billion at an average of $29,817 per Bitcoin. Man, talk about a bet. I hope, look, I get upset at Michael Saylor because I know he's been lobbying to have everything become a security, except with the exception of Bitcoin, typical Bitcoin maxi nonsense. But I also don't want to see anything bad happen to him with this bet, because it would be detrimental to the market. It wouldn't kill crypto, of course, but be detrimental to the price. So he's taken such a large bet that if this was to go south, can you imagine, guys, what would happen? But man, he better pray this works out well for him, because this is a huge bet, massive amount of Bitcoin. Now, we continue to see around the globe, banks and different financial institutions are moving towards crypto. So we got a report here: Chinese banking giants seeking partnerships with Bitcoin and crypto firms in Hong Kong after China mainland ban. So we know in China, they did their ban, Bitcoin mining and so forth, but it's being reported here that business is booming in Hong Kong with different crypto companies, and these Chinese banks are looking to get some of the action here. And Hong Kong is now a territory back under China's control, so they're looking to do it through Hong Kong. So crypto firms rushing into Hong Kong after the city opened its doors to the battered sector after finding a surprising source of potential support: China's state-owned banks. Chinese banks have been directly reaching out to crypto businesses over the past few months, adding to signs that the city's push to become a major digital asset center has the backing from Beijing, even though trading of crypto has been banned on the mainland for well over a year. But we know people have still been trading. People are actually still mining there, even though they outright banned. But when I say that they're trading and mining, I'm not talking about big operations. I'm talking about individuals and small groups are still doing these things because it's impossible for the government to try to police all of this. So the Hong Kong arms of Bank of Communications, Bank of China, and Shanghai Pudong Development Bank have either started offering banking services to local crypto firms or have made inquiries, according to people with knowledge of the matter. So great to see that things are moving ahead around the world, and it's a constant reminder that crypto is not specific to one country or some region. It's a global asset class. And you don't have to be an accredited investor to invest into digital assets and crypto. You can literally put $10 into Bitcoin, into XRP, into Ethereum, whatever it is, and you're part of the same asset class that maybe a millionaire and billionaire has. So in no time in history, has that been available, and to be able to fractionalize parts of an asset like Bitcoin and so forth and be a holder of it. It's pretty amazing. Finally, Polygon's zkEVM goes live on the Ethereum mainnet. Polygon's zkEVM goes head-to-head with zkSync's Era. So let me give you guys some details here. You all know I'm bullish on Polygon. I hold Matic. It's a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum. They have been getting massive partnerships. I mean, huge brands building on their blockchain. So I'm bullish on it. I think Polygon's going to do really well in the next bull market and in the future as well. So the zero knowledge Ethereum virtual machine is a technology that can execute smart contract transactions in a way that can prove the information is executed correctly without revealing the information itself on Ethereum's mainnet, thereby bundling more transactions in less mainnet block space. Sandeep Nawal, the co-founder and chief operating officer of Polygon, told Blockworks this type of technology is considered the holy grail of scaling. Here's a quote: "With the power of mathematics, you can compute something off-chain on layer 2, then verify everything back on Ethereum in a very succinct way and in a very short amount of time," Nawal said. Polygon's launch on Ethereum comes just days after Matter Labs' zkSync Era opened to the public on the Ethereum mainnet. So there's building continuing here to help Ethereum scale. And I hold Ethereum, I hold Matic. I'm bullish on both. And, Ethereum has the first mover advantage when it comes to smart contracts. And smart contracts is a big part of digital assets and Web3 and how things are going to be trustless and be able to improve transactions and so forth over time. So that's the news, my friends. What do you all think about this Binance news? Pretty crazy stuff. What do you think? Does Binance kind of just pay a fine and move forward with this? That's what I'm thinking. But the silver lining here is that it exposes the mass confusion between the CFTC and the SEC, and hopefully that puts more pressure on Congress to act, and hopefully act this year, right? Because they're going to have to save face here, because this looks like just a mess. It looks like amateur hour here for the US government. And please, like I said, make content, call your representatives, tweet, email, make videos, do what you got to do, write articles, use social media and the internet to your advantage, my friends. And let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you all later.